What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Chris Stevens Writes YouTube channel. Definitely want to thank you all for tuning in. Again, I know it's been about 3 weeks, but I did promise you guys I was going to be more active in, giving you content. So there's going to be this vlog. There's going to be my podcast, the Chris Pods and Things show that you can find the link to description. Find the link to in the description. Yes, that's what I'm trying to say. And without further delay, I want to get into the topic of today's video, which is the difference between being a journalist and a novelist. And I know people will probably feel like, well, you're a writer. All you're doing is writing. One is fact, one is fiction. That's true. But there's also the very interesting part of, planning and pantsing. If you're a writer, if you're a creative writer, you will be very familiar with either one of those terms. Planning is when you put together an entire outline, character description, all of that. Like it all just, is laid out there for you on a piece of paper or on a Word doc, and then you start your rough draft from there. Obviously, in journalism, in newspaper writing, it's really simple. You go to an event, whether it's a sporting event, a city county meeting, whatever, report the facts, get a quote from this person, that person, whoever's important to the story, write it, it's done. And that's about 500 words. 500 words doesn't even begin to describe where you start with a novel. And that, to me, has always been the part that I kind of find the most difficult. Actually, that's not true. The most difficult part I find is trying not to be as robotic in my creative writing as I've been forced to be as a journalist. And as you guys know, that I've been a sports writer for almost 19 years now. And trying to just stick to the facts with newspaper writing really isn't that hard for me. But for anyone else, but for the creative side of it, I'm still trying to figure out how to just let myself go and just throw caution to the wind, write whatever foolishness that I'm going to write, and just let it be. Let that fiction be fiction. Let that be as outlandish and as outrageous and as, what the hell am I reading, as I want it to be. And that's the hard part for me. That is the hard part for me. Like, sticking to the facts for journalism isn't just hard, because plagiarism will get you fired. Like, it'll get you fired anywhere, in any form, any form that entails writing. If you're stealing from somebody else or you're not reporting the facts, you will be out of there. You just will. That's the bottom line. But with fiction, you can be as ridiculous as you want to be. It doesn't matter if, like the episode of SpongeBob where SpongeBob and Patrick are playing with the TV box that Squidward doesn't want, but Squidward wants to fight, with pirates on the moon, pirate robots on the moon, or whatever it is. You can be as silly as that and then some in fiction. And that's something that I'm trying to, work through as we speak. Probably not going to be able to do it with this one. The one that I'm probably going to be putting out the day after Thanksgiving is going to be a Christmas novel, Christmas romance. Actually, don't have a title yet, but I have my two main characters. I have them all planned out. Shout out to Tasha L. Harrison's Character Creation Workbook, a great resource, very, very much worth the money. And that probably won't be the one that I have, a ridiculous amount of fun with. I mean, granted, it's going to be fun because it's going to be two adults having, a romantic encounter in a romantic situation during the Christmas holiday, which is always wonderful to read and write. But there's going to be a point where I just write something so ridiculous that I'm not even going to be able to look at it correctly. But the way these things work, that'll probably be the thing that actually, helps spark my creative writing career to the level that I want it to be at. And that will probably come maybe after I finish my journalism memoirs. And I've been threatening to do that. I've actually finished 6 chapters. If you're interested in being a beta reader for that, reach out to me. My email address is chrisstevenswrites, that's ChrisStevensWrites@gmail.com. And there you can just say, hey, Chris, I want to beta read these chapters, give you my honest opinion, and then I'll send them right off to you. It's about 6 chapters. They're very short, which means I have a lot of work to do because I'm still trying to remember a lot of the things from my career, from the entertaining standpoint through the professional standpoint, because not only do I want this to be kind of like as an entertaining read, but I also want to serve as a guide for young journalists coming up in the game that, okay, this is what happens in the field. This is what happened to me, and this is how you can avoid that or learn from that. So there is a lot that I have planned and a lot going on. But again, the topic of this video is the difference between being a journalist and a novelist. And of course, as I said, journalism, it's pretty much the facts. You report the story, whatever the story is, you get quotes from somebody that has the inside information, that wants to go on the record, and you just report it. But with writing a novel, these folks all live in your head. Every single one of them. It doesn't matter if it's the main character or the protagonist, to be professional. Be a professional writer. The protagonist, the antagonist, the love interest, sidekick, all these folks have to be, developed in your mind or developed, through character creation workbooks, like I said, like Tasha L. Harrison's. Please check hers out. Like, that one really helped me, form a basis for my Christmas romance novel characters. So these folks are people that you are going to have to make up in your head. The story is going to have to be made up in your head. And it's all going to have to be made, it's going to make sense. It's going to have a beginning, a middle, and an end. It's going to have conflict. It's going to have romance. It's going to have, character development, whether one character turns good in the end or goes bad in the end. It's something that you all have to think about up in here. That reminds me of when David Allen Greer played Ike Turner on Living Color. See, anime, I'm all up in here. That being said, you really just have to be, as footloose and fancy free as you want to be. Now, that doesn't mean you can just, write any old thing down and just it's going to pop. But that's where the planning comes in. You can still be as creative with the characters and the story as you want, but it still has to follow something. And that's why you write outlines. And outlines are how you set up, this chapter, that chapter, and so on, and just go down the page. And that helps a lot of writers on the creative side. Like for me, I pants the hell out of shit. Planning is when you outline, create your characters and all that. Pantsing is you're just, bam, writing it down. And, write first, ask questions later. And that has worked for me to an extent, but I really want to get planning down because I feel like the more time I have to plan, the more time that I can just follow a guide rather than just, flying through my head and just, the story will probably turn out better. And I mean, granted, I've written some pretty good stuff so far, Panson, but I really want to get planning down. But that to me is something that is just another facet of me trying to compartmentalize being a journalist over here, being one who reports the facts, one who sticks to the facts, one who tells the story as it's supposed to be, and as a novelist, trying to just give you something entertaining that makes sense in some points, but still has you like, wow. So that is the key for me, and hopefully I hope to achieve that very shortly. This is going to be book number 10. I never thought I'd get 10 books deep, even though my hero Walter Mosley puts out 2 books a year. So I'm way behind his pace, but hopefully I'll catch up to him one day. That's the goal. That's one of my goals, is to be as prolific and as successful as Walter Mosley is. I've mentioned, amongst my influences, there's Mosley, there's Omar Tyree, there's Eric Jerome Dickey, there's Zora Neale Hurston, there's Toni Morrison, Baldwin, James Baldwin, Zane, whole wide range of black author influences for me. So those are the folks I hope to emulate. Those are the folks I hope to follow. Those are the folks I hope to be as successful as one day. But that's pretty much all I wanted to talk to you guys about. I just really wanted to get a video out because I haven't done a video in 3 weeks. And wow, it looks like I'm actually going to get this done in a real decent amount of time. So wow, you don't have to skip through anything. This is going to be about 10 minutes long. Perfect. Okay. All right. Subscribe to the channel. Tap the notification bell to be notified of when new videos drop, which will be a lot more frequently. And don't be afraid to comment. If you like the video, like it. If you don't like it, drop the thumbs down. To help me get better. Leave a comment. Do what you do. Whatever you do on YouTube with everybody else, please do it with me because it's the only way I can get better. And shouts out to vdubshop.com for this awesome Volkswagen GTI t-shirt that I copped myself for my birthday. I just never wore it yet. But anytime you see me wearing a graphic tee, it's probably going to be for a video because I'm very afraid to wear these things outside because I don't want to get them dirty. And, washing graphic tees is a, crapshoot of a situation. So, I usually just reserve graphic tees for trying to look fly on video. So I look fly on video. There you go. All right, that being said, thank you all for watching this video. If you have any questions, once again, shoot me an email, chrisstevenswrites, ChrisStevensWrites@gmail.com. Once again, like the video, comment. Greatly appreciate y'all for checking in. Till next time, stay safe, stay healthy, stay up.